And we are live. Welcome back. It's official. The Saul GoodCast is back.
Yes.
Season 4, Episode 1, Smoke. And my God, did it ever need to tell the story? It laid the beginning groundwork of this season, and we are going to be in one for a heck of a ride this season, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
with
I
the
think
whole
so.
Mike and Gus and Hector and Nacho storyline. I am on pins and needles of seeing how that
Oh, I
plays out.
know.
And the whole
It,
Chuck
yeah.
and Jimmy and Kimmy and Hamlin and McGill and whatever heck is going on. I mean, are we going to see Saul this season? That's the big question looming. And I think we will. I think Saul Goodman will make the appearance this season.
Possibly by the end of the season or maybe a little bit before.
Maybe maybe midways, see episode 5. Because there's 10 episodes this season.
Yeah.
We have to see Saul this season. This is the season where Jimmy becomes Saul.
Yeah, I think so.
But let's get into the opening credits of this episode, and we are back in Omaha, Nebraska, picked up right where we left off, seeing Gene last season where he fainted in the Cinnabon store, restaurant, what do you want to call it, in the mall. He fainted, he passed out. We see the beginning parts of that where the ambulance comes and gets him, puts him on the stretchers him out to the hospital to see if everything's okay. And we discussed this in the preview of last week of the whole anticipation of what is going to happen with Gene Tekervik. That's his name, Tekervik.
Yeah.
But we found out his last name, and we found out his social security number.
Yeah, we did.
And his driver's license, too. We see his driver's license, which we saw in the making of, in the Breaking Bad episode where he goes to see the disappearer, and he goes to Omaha, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. And so his driver's license comes back. It kicks back. The nurse, the secretary, doesn't know what's going on. She asks for his social. She punts in his social. That kicks back. And Gene is just frantic. He is like, oh my God, I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get caught. However, big relief, she just typed in the letter O instead of the number 0.
Yes. Yeah, she is like she realized her mistake. Like, oh wait, no, this is what I did. I meant to do this, but I did this. So
yeah, big sigh of relief. Or is it with Jimmy? And we continue on to see Gene get into the taxi. And the taxi had a air freshener that had Albuquerque
isotopes. Yeah.
Which we are led to believe that this taxi driver used to either live in Albuquerque or is a big fan of the isotopes. We don't know what's going on. So this mystery person who it seems that he knows Gene. It's like he knows Gene. And I messaged to you, that kind of looks like Hamlin, because you just see his eyes, and I just saw Hamlin. I don't know if you saw Hamlin or not, but I saw Hamlin, with just the eyes.
It could have been, because we know that Hamlin and McGill kind of went under. It must have gone under.
Yeah.
Because we never really heard it mentioned during Breaking Bad. We never heard it mentioned, so maybe this was Hamlin and he's been reduced to driving a taxi cab. Maybe something so catastrophic happened with Hamlin and McGill that he had to take any job he could get.
Yeah, because we speculated that last week on the recap of what's going to happen with Hamlin McGill since Chuck is dead.
Yeah.
Is it going to go under? Is Hamlin going to have to? Is Hamlin still alive? That's the other question. Is Hamlin still alive? And he might still well be alive. and it might be
Mm-hmm.
him driving the taxi, like you theorized, Henry. If Hamlin McGill goes under, he moves somewhere, and he picks up a taxi, and between Hamlin McGill and Omaha, Hamlin has to lose his license. And that whole Chuck McGill thing may be a reason why he loses his law license. He gets disbarred.
Especially what we find out about later in the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love when they run that they have this guy's eyes. He's looking in the rearview mirror. He's looking at Jimmy. He's like, that guy looks. He's probably thinking, this guy looks familiar. If it is Hamlin, then he of course would know that was probably Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Gene or Jimmy or Saul, whatever identity you want to use, gets out of the taxi, bends over to tie his shoe, and which is really kind of reminiscent of when Walt bends over and ties his shoe and punts the GPS tracker under Gus's car. And I saw that. And going a little bit later in the episode, I put two to two, not put two to two together, but saw something else that kind of reminded me of something. But when Gene ties his shoe, he sees the taxi still there, and he walks away, and that's it. The taxi is still there as Gene walks away, and I hope we don't have to wait until next season to see what happens. I hope we get another Gene segment this season.
Yeah, that would be great to see, like a bonus type deal this season with Gene, just to see the resolution of that. Because I mean, he's asked to be taken back to the mall, and the guy was going the wrong way, apparently.
No, I think when Gene saw him, I think that's when he cut him off and said, "This would be fine right here," because he didn't want to go any further, in hopes that the guy would recognize him.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. I mean, it was. The opening was just great. It was very, very taut. It was very, we have this mystery man that we don't know who he is, but it may be Hamlin. There is a bit of resemblance as far as the eyes. So,
yeah, and it might be another false flag, like it was this episode, where Gene gets excited or nervous that it might be someone he knows, but in reality it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which will give him some sigh of relief. But sticking with Gene for a little bit, Ellen posted in our group chat that Walter White still might be alive during those flash. And the theory is that since Saul was the first to leave the disappearer's room to go to Omaha, the whole plot of the ending of Breaking Bad still might have not taken place yet, and Gene still thinks that Walt is still out there and alive.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Which, going into this is like, okay, Gene expects Walt to be we expect that Gene already knew that Walt was dead. Mm-hmm. But however, Vince Gilligan is saying, hey, hold up now a minute. Walter White still might be out there, still might be in New Hampshire somewhere and getting ready to travel across country to go and do his final farewell, his Felina.
Mm-hmm. So what happened with Gene could have, and it's a good theory, by the way. It could have been in the period before Walter went back to Albuquerque.
Yeah,
that's a very good thing because remember Walt was in New Hampshire for what, 3 months, something like that.
I think was what. I can't remember when I just rewatched Breaking Bad. I can't remember what the disappearer said. I think he said he was going to be back in 3 months or 6 months. So to keep
3 or 6 months, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, all these events could be taken as Walt is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting theory that Vince Gilligan put out there, and Maybe we might see Walt in Omaha somewhere, tracking Gene down and getting ready to off him.
Because because obviously we remember that obviously Gene said, yeah, I might wind up managing a Cinnabon in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
He did say that in front of Walt. So
Yeah, because Walt knows where Saul is at. Like you said, Walt knows where he's at. He knows that he's in Nebraska.
Yep.
So that cross-country trip from New Hampshire to Nebraska to Albuquerque, that period right there, that's it. That's a good period for Walt to, killed off Gene or Saul, which I think would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, it would be. It would be very interesting. As far as I mean, yeah, but it was a great opener. The opener for this episode. And of course, I mean, it would not have been a Better Call Saul season premiere without seeing Gene.
Yeah, I'm glad they keep that going. I'm glad they're keeping that going.
Yeah, it's become a tradition now. I mean, I'm glad that they've
with Gene.
Yeah, I'm glad that they've stuck with that.
And I like the song choices they use during those scenes with Gene. I mean, they're like, depressing. It's like in black and white. This song they used was by the Ink Spots.
Yeah,
the Ink Spots. Was. It was My Echo, My Shadow, and Me.
Yeah. It was funny. Ellen put the link to the song. Remember, she PM'd and she says, "Guess," or she put out a message and said, "Guess what I'm watching right now." And we knew that because that's the
opening theme, which is just tremendous.
Yeah, and of course it shows the usage of popular music and licensed music that they Breaking Bad utilize it quite well, and now Better Call Saul is utilizing licensed music also.
Yeah, I'm glad Dave Porter stuck around for the music choices because he makes the most unpredictable, excellent choice of music for each montage that he, I guess, directs.
I know it's really
it's just great, and especially the montage with Mike that we get to see later on in the episode. Which
that was great too. Yeah,
I got a feeling that Jonathan Banks had so much fun shooting that.
I think he did. I think that was tremendous too. The stuff with Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But let's see. We jump right into it. Let's see. We have the intro. Then we come back from commercial, and
I gotta say, I love the transition of the ash. You see the ashes,
Oh yeah, the embers. Yeah, we see like the embers floating up into the.
Passing the boxes of Mesa Verde and into Jim and Kimmy's room where they're sleeping, which I thought that was great. I know
that was tremendous.
Yeah. So this episode picks up right after Chuck kills himself, but the morning after he kills himself, and
it's right. It is. It's right the morning after. That's what it is. Yeah.
And we see Jimmy looking at classified ads in the paper for jobs. And I didn't notice this until I looked at the Better Call Saul wiki. But there's 2 Breaking Bad Easter eggs, and I went back and I screenshot the newspaper, and I'll present it to everybody, and I'll let you see what you see.
I'm on a phone, so it's a little bit different. It's a little bit harder for me to see it.
Okay,
I'm on the phone.
Well, there's one ad with the laser base, Danny and the laser base.
Oh yeah,
the laser tag. There's one.
Oh right. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And then just right across from that ad, there's another ad for Beneke. Ted Beneke.
Oh yeah, Ted Beneke. Yeah. So
I wonder if that's the job that Skyler applied for.
That may have been. Well, that's where she worked.
Hmm. So we see
And of
two
course,
huge
you know,
Breaking
had
Bad Easter eggs.
of course she had the affair with Beneke as well. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's two really good Easter eggs for Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now we know that this is still 2000. We're still in 2003, maybe
Yeah.
2004.
Hmm.
You know that I do love the fact that they picked right back up where they left off from last
Yes.
season. They didn't jump ahead. They didn't do. Oh, speaking of time jumps, I found out that the time jump on The Walking Dead for
Hmm.
season 9 is 18 months. So we're talking a year and a
Two.
half. We're talking a
Wow.
year and a half after
Hmm.
the all out war.
Hmm.
So
And so that means Maggie should have had the baby by now.
yes, I imagine so.
Hmm.
But yeah, we jump right into it, and we have he's looking through the classifieds. He's making coffee. Jimmy's making
Hmm.
coffee. Kim gets up, and then they get a message from, or they get a call from Hamlin,
Hmm.
and Jimmy doesn't want to talk to him,
Yeah.
and Kim picks up the phone, and that's when she hears, and she gives the phone to Jimmy, where she says it's
Hmm.
about Chuck.
Hmm.
That's when we find out.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hamlin is the one that let Jimmy know about Chuck's death and
Mm-hmm.
what happened. And I gotta
Yep.
say, I wonder if they used CG for that fire. I wonder if they CG it, or if I wanted they used a actual house and just burn it to the ground. Because that looks good. That was good in the background.
If
I
it's
bet it
if
was
it,
CG.
if it's CGI, it's really well done. I
It
think
is. It is well done.
if it is CGI.
Hmm.
Um, and one thing is, Jimmy's there and he's trying to figure out what happened, and
Hmm.
he's looking at the fire. And of course, you got the firemen are there, the investigators, and all that.
Hmm.
And one thing that Jimmy says, which I thought was interesting, is that he is told by the firemen that all he said at first, it seemed like Chuck was getting better. It
Hmm.
seemed like he was being more accepting of the electric stuff, and of almost as if he was getting over his seemingly psychosomatic illness.
Hmm.
And he says, all the electric stuff was in the backyard. The fireman didn't do that. Chuck must have done it, he said. Which
Hmm.
I thought was interesting. I mean, why would Chuck move all the electric stuff out in the backyard?
Yeah. Jimmy figured that he relapsed, and
Yes. Uh huh.
he was concerned of how he relapsed because the last time, like you said, he saw Chuck was he was with all the electromagnetism raining down on him, with lights on, and he's holding the hand mixer and he's cooking and everything. And after his conversation with Chuck about him not never ever liked him, after that, that's when Chuck relapsed. And Jimmy, I think it was just hard on Jimmy a little bit going earlier into the episode, and then until we get to
Yep.
the ending where he just brushed aside.
Yeah.
But I
And
think,
you notice the sweatshirt Jimmy was wearing from the
yeah,
University of American
Samoa.
Samoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I like where they was at the park bench. That's the same park bench that Chuck and Jimmy was on
Uh huh.
when there was in the outside with Jimmy trying to help Chuck overcome his condition. I
Yeah.
thought that was a nice touch with him and Kim on there.
Yep. That was really nice. That was really. I mean, it was really great, and I thought the scene was really well done.
Hmm.
Him kind of trying to figure out, how did this happen? What happened?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's letting the investigators do their job, the firemen and all that.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, I mean, it was a very well done scene. I thought it was just the whole scene was really. Of course, then Hamlin comes out and says something about he doesn't reveal quite yet about pushing Chuck out.
Hmm.
That comes near the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So we transition to, I think we transitioned to Mike after that.
Yeah, we see Mike and his garden hose of doom that he made last season with
Yeah, but he
Kaylee.
but he's quitting his toll booth job.
Yeah, he's ending his tow booth job, and so
Yeah,
that he can get the magical job or the
yeah.
fake magical job as a security consultant.
hmm
And
Because
Mike being Mike, he wants to work. He doesn't want to just sit home all day and do
yeah,
nothing. He
yeah,
wants to get out and do something. At least with his
yeah,
toll booth job, he's doing something. He's out. He's doing something.
yeah. And we see when he gets home, he gets one of those. He gets a check
Yeah.
from Madrigal.
Hmm. And it's over
So
$10,000. $10,000
yeah,
just to sit home and do nothing. I
yeah.
would kill for a job like that.
I know.
To sit
They,
home
they,
and do nothing and just get a paycheck for 10 grand a month.
I know.
That's the
Yeah.
life right there.
And of course, he goes and visits his granddaughter Kaylee and his
Hmm.
daughter-in-law,
Hmm.
and his daughter-in-law has to work, so Mike offers to take care of Kaylee.
Hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, I'll take her. It's no big deal. It's no problem."
Yeah. And in true Gus fashion, he told him that he can make his own hours. Just like
Yes.
Gus told Walt that he can make your own hours, which I thought was a
Right.
great, you know, great callback to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that was tremendous. I mean, because obviously Mike wants. Yeah, Mike is one of those older folks that wants to get out and do stuff. He doesn't
Yeah.
want to just sit around
Hmm.
all day. My grandfather was the same way. He always wanted
Oh
to be
yeah.
doing something.
Oh yeah. I have a uncle who works on cars and everything, and he retired from the business, but he still works on them because he wants to do it. He wants to work on the cars and everything. He
Yeah,
gave his business up, but he's still on the side. He still works on them on the side because he wants to do
yeah.
that.
It's like
He
you're.
told my dad because it's my dad's uncle, I think. So he's my great uncle. I don't know how that
Uh
works
huh.
out, but he told my dad. He said that ever quits working on the cars, he'll probably just sit home and do nothing and probably just kill himself or die because he's not doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like I say, like older folks, they want to be doing something. They don't want to just sit around all day. Especially retirees. Like my
Right.
grandfather, he retired. He was part of the insurance business for a long time, and he retired, but he didn't just want to sit around and do nothing.
Hmm.
So he was always out here in the yard, pit. He was always tinkering. He'd take care of his stuff. He would be in his garden. He built this house because he was bored. He built the house that I'm in right
Yeah.
now.
Oh wow,
So
that's
he
great.
built the gazebo we have out here. He built that gazebo. So
Hmm.
he made another garden out here on the side yard. He did all kinds of stuff. He was the type. And that's what Mike is doing. Mike wants to be able to get out and do stuff,
Hmm.
and that's why he kind of. I mean, of course, I love what Mike did later with stealing the guy's ID.
That was great. Oh man, that was great. That was fantastic, and we'll get into that because I was wondering what that whole scene was about. I didn't know the whole because I just looked up and was like, this kid and a guy and his son is
Yeah,
fixing the bike. How's this going to tie together? And then we see how it ties together, which is fantastic.
yeah, it was great. It was great. I mean, it was great to see that scene, that whole scene with Jonathan Banks. Just to have Jonathan Banks, on there
Yeah, I
to
thought that
just
was
kind
a
of.
fun scene. Great scene.
Yeah,
And like
it
I said
was.
earlier, I think Hanks had so much fun doing that. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, so after the mic, we cut back to Jimmy and Kim, and we
Mm-hmm.
see Jimmy looking down at the sink, and I was like, that reminded me of Skylar when she looked down at the sink trying to figure out a way to buy the car wash. And she sees the
Yeah.
soap going around, and it kind of reminded me of that. That's a good. I don't know if they intended for that to be or not, but it was a good callback if it was.
It was. It was a very good callback, and I was like, "Oh wow!" It did look vaguely familiar to
Mhm.
me, anyway. It really did. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, and so Howard calls Jimmy, and he reads him Chuck's obituary, and we finally we finally get Chuck's middle name, which is Lindbergh, Charles L.
Yes,
McGill.
Charles Lindbergh McGill. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just that was that was. See, we never knew his middle name. Of course, we knew Jimmy's middle name was Everett, James Everett McGill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we never knew Chuck's middle name. And then, now, of course, I'm guessing his parents named him after Charles Lindbergh.
Well, that'd
You
be
know the
that'd be awesome if if the writers planned that
They
to
may
be
have.
called Lindbergh.
They probably did. I wouldn't be shy. I would
I
not.
haven't watched the Insider podcast yet. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm gonna listen to it when
Uh huh.
we get off of here because
Yeah, but I would not be surprised if indeed that's where that they did that intentionally. You
yeah,
know.
that'd be great if they did.
And by the way, kids, for those who don't know who Charles Lindbergh is, look him up. He was the guy, the first male pilot, the first pilot to fly across the Atlantic
Mm-hmm.
in the Spirit of St. Louis
Yeah,
plane.
yeah,
Flew to
and don't
Paris.
forget about the whole Lindbergh baby too.
And the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. That was
Yeah,
also a famous,
mm-hmm.
very famous case.
Yeah,
So, but yeah. I mean, Jimmy, after a while, he didn't really want to listen too much to
mm-hmm.
the stuff about the obituary because he was still a little bit upset. So he let
Mm-hmm.
Kim listen to the rest of it.
Yeah. And plus, I think because Howard, he was listening off of his Chuck's accomplishments, and
Yes.
I think Jimmy didn't want to hear that. I don't think he wanted to hear Chuck's accomplishments because because Jimmy knows that he hasn't accomplished anything that he wanted to accomplish,
Hmm.
and for him to hear Chuck's accomplishments, it's like a kind of a stick to the face to him, slap in the
It's it, you
face.
know it's like a dagger. It's like a dagger in his heart almost, referring to Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I would equate it to. Kind of a
Yeah.
like
And
like like
plus, and plus, going back to the whole Jimmy and Chuck scene we had with him, saying that, basically punting down his own brother, while while Chuck is building himself up, saying, "Well, I did this. You're nothing but a flipping Jimmy. Flipping Jimmy's not going to get you anywhere.
right.
Keep punting
Yeah.
him down." And then with him listening to Chuck's accomplishments, of course, that's going to put some strain onto him.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So yeah, it was a tremendous scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I mean, Kim had to say, "That's good, Howard."
Mm-hmm.
So then we switched to, remember we were PMing each other and we were talking about, where we were, you said we probably see the stuff with Gus and Nacho next week, but the very next scene, there it was.
There it was, yeah. Because I was expecting this whole episode to be revolved around the whole Chuck and Jimmy situation. I wasn't expecting the whole Gus and Nacho situation until next episode, but this picks up right where we left off again of the last episode of season 3 with Hector going into, I guess, cardiac arrest and having the stroke and heart attack that punts him wheelchair bound. And
Uh-huh.
we discussed this last week. Hector does appear in the wheelchair this season, which I
Hmm.
am very, very looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling you about the whole Gus thing, and I think Mike probably told Gus of Nacho's plan. I mean, how else does Gus suspect Nacho did anything?
Yeah, I would say so. And we saw, and we see Nacho. He's trying to get rid of the pills, and there's a little grate right there. And Gus is on the phone. He's got his back to Nacho. Nacho is going to try and get rid of the pills, going to dump
Yeah.
them down the sewer, in the
Mm-hmm.
sewer. And just as he's about to do that, Gus says, Von Bolsa wants to see you.
Mm-hmm.
So another great callback to Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Juan Bolsa,
Yeah, Juan
which
Bolsa.
he's having a major story point in the whole list, because we saw the beginnings of Gus's wants to taking out the Salamanca clan, the Salamanca family name. He wants to take them out so he can get Salamanca's territory. And I'm wondering, and we was discussing this last week and via messaging, if Gus is going to start that plan of eliminating the Salamancas so that he can finally get that territory of his, because Juan Bolsa specifically stated that the Salamanca territory stays the Salamanca territory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Juan Bolsa has Gus and Nacho there.
Mm-hmm.
And one of Tuco's guys was there. It's somebody we hadn't seen, but it was someone who
Mm-hmm.
had been with Tuco.
Yeah,
And
we get a Tuco name drop, so I'm wondering if we're going to see Tuco this season.
that's what
I mean,
I'm
we
wondering.
have to. We got to get that whole established relationship between him and Hector. Because when we first meet Tuco, he's with Hector. He's taking care of Hector out in
Yeah.
the boonies somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to figure out what happens. How does Hector get with Tuco, and how does Tuco take care of Hector and all that situation? Because the whole big revelation in this season is that we get to see Lalo, who was mentioned briefly in Breaking Bad, but never had a big, huge impact until now. So something's got to happen with Hector and Lalo for Tuco to come in to take over. I guess they're going to go with the route that Tuco is taking over what Lalo was doing. That's what I'm predicting. That's my prediction, because something's got to happen with Lalo, and Lalo is going to have Tuco take over his spot or territory, because something's going to happen with that, or something happens to Lalo and Tuco gets appointed to take over his territory by Juan Bolsa, or something's got to happen, and I am freaking out because I cannot wait.
Yeah,
we can make predictions all night long, but
there's so many possibilities of bringing Tuco in, and obviously they would probably attempt to get him out of prison.
Yeah, he's got to get early release or something, because Hector talked about her early release because Mike took the blame for the gun, but then he kind of killed that scenario when he hit the guard, when Hector was upset about that, because he'd be like, he's in there forever, he'll be in there forever.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many possibilities of where they could go with that.
And I cannot wait until we meet Lalo. I hope we get to meet him, at least in the next episode.
Yep.
Hopefully next
that
episode.
Would be cool. But yeah, it was great. And then we finally after the meeting with Juan Bolsa, we see Nacho go to over an overhang, a bridge, and he finally dumps the pills out in the river, throws them out there.
Just a tad bit where Gus was talking about the whole war between the Salamancas and his concern that the DEA might be involved.
Yes.
Now, we was talking about this on Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, okay, is this going to be the seeds planting for Hank or Gomi
or both of them?
Yeah, or the both of them to make a appearance on Better Call Saul?
Mm-hmm. It'd be cool to see Dean Norris, maybe. show up.
Yeah, or at least at the most, Gomi.
Steve, yeah, Gomi.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool too.
Because going back a few seasons, we was introduced to Crazy 8. And in Breaking Bad, we found out that Crazy 8 is a informant for the DEA. He's a snitch. He's one of their snitches.
That was season. That was season 2. Remember that was
season 2.
Because remember that's when Mike let Tuco beat him up.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw Crazy 8 in season 2, and we know from Breaking Bad that Crazy 8 is a snitch for the DEA. So I'm wondering if they're going to bring back Crazy 8 so that they can, combine the stories of how the DEA gets involved with the whole whatever they're going to do. But, the DEA, that's right there. That to me makes huge foreshadowing of the whole seed planting for Gomi and Hank. Because what else would Gus bring it up if they're not going to foreshadow that?
Good point. Yeah, I mean, when he mentioned DEA, I thought, oh, could this be Hank? Could this be Gomi?
Or both of them, or at least the other people that was with Hank and Gomi with the DEA. What was the sergeant with the mustache? I forgot his name.
I always forget his name.
I forget his name too. That's okay. I'm going to have to search that up now. That's going to kill me if I don't get his name.
Yeah,
go ahead, Henry,
are we going to see Danny Trejo as Tortuga? That'd be interesting.
That would be awesome if we get to see Danny Trejo.
Yes, as Tortuga.
We need some Danny Trejo in this.
Yeah. So finally, we see Nacho get rid of the evidence, and Victor is watching him. We thought maybe it might be Mike at first, but then we see that it's Victor. He's got a scanner of some sort. So he's apparently keeping an eye on Nacho on Gus's behalf.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
Nacho's being followed by Victor, which I think at first I thought it was going to be Mike tracking Nacho. That's how I thought it was going to be, but it was Victor.
Yep.
And that dude's name from the DEA is George Merkett.
Merkett, yeah. Yeah, that was the guy. So then we come back from commercial. We go to commercial again. We come back from commercial, and there's the guy with his son, and he's helping him put his bicycle chain on.
Yeah, this is great. It's like so unpredicted because when they first did that scene, I was like, how is this going to tie into this episode? What's the point of the boy and the kid and the bike and his dad?
I'm like, who is this guy?
Exactly. Who's this guy? And then we found out that he's a employee of Magical.
Yeah.
Because he can't get his car started, which I think is Mike doing for some reason. I think it's Mike's doing. Yes. It's got to be. I can't place anybody else that did it. And then he finds out that his badge is missing.
Yeah, his badge is. Yep, that's right. His badge was missing, and Mike had his badge.
And he just walks in unannounced.
Yeah.
And then you see the close up of the badge with the guy's face on it, and then they pan the camera up to Mike's face, which I thought was hilarious because they look nothing alike.
But of course, he was acting as a consultant at that point. He was acting his full capacity, security consultant, and he was in the. I love the scene in the break room where the two guys are discussing who would win in a fight between Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And Mike says, "Does Bruce Lee have a gun?" No. He said, because they're talking about how Bruce Lee would beat Muhammad Ali in a fight, and then Mike says, Ali would outclass him or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, does Bruce Lee have a gun? Because that's the only way for him to beat Muhammad Ali. And the
Yes.
funny part was that the dudes wasn't even paying attention to Mike. It was too busy talking about Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali. And then they didn't even look at his credentials. They didn't even punt two to two together.
Yeah.
And then they went up to him and said, "Hey, did you sign the card for Tina? I think because it's her birthday." And he signed the birthday card under the dude's
Oh
name.
yeah, that was great. That was great. He signed the birthday card. Yeah, and then we see him, using a cart, and he's driving around. There's these guys. They're not using belt lifts or lift belts.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys need to use lift belts
and work gloves too. I thought it was great.
Gloves.
You have Mike driving around in this whole montage of doing security work. He sees the camera is down. He sees that they didn't even shred the papers.
Oh yeah.
He finds the papers in the trash can.
I know.
In the background, that's the ice cream truck coming by.
Uh-huh.
Kind of late for an ice cream truck to come by.
I wish we had one of those around here, man. Get
you guys
some
don't
ice
have an
cream.
Ice cream truck?
No, not in our neighborhood.
Wow. Yeah.
Wish we did. And then Mike gives the guys. He says, "Hey, I think you lost this." He gives the guy's ID back to him.
Yeah.
And he's talking to the one guy saying, "I know that half a dozen violations. I just walked right in. Nobody really checked my ID. You got people throwing away paper. It's not even shredding them."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was basically telling them that they were screwing up, and they were just letting any Tom, Dick, and Harry can walk into their business.
Exactly. That was great. And he's like, "If you have any problems, call Lydia." And we get
Lydia Rodart Quayle. Yes.
And we will get to see Lydia sometime this season, and it might be next. Hopefully, it's next episode because this will tie into next episode if we see her.
It would.
See Lydia. I hope she makes a more of an important role this season because last season we saw her twice. The first time we saw her was with Gus and the whole laundromat discussion, and the second time we saw her was with Mike and putting him on the payroll so she can funnel money into his account. And hopefully this season she'll play a more important role. Maybe we get to see more of her.
Maybe so, but yeah, it was a great montage of Mike and at Madrigal and pointing out all the mistakes that are being made here. It
was so great.
Well, hey, there was a reason he was the cleanup guy after Jane died. Remember?
Yeah.
There was a reason Saul recommended him to go, do cleanup for because he was Gus's and Saul's cleanup guy.
Yeah.
Or the fixer. You could say he was kind of like the fixer.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he did a tremendous job, as he always,
Mm-hmm.
But there was a reason why he was given that responsibility.
Oh, yeah, because he does good work.
Yeah,
he does great work.
I mean, he can break into somewhere and not even be detected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe he's the one that sabotaged that guy's car that wouldn't start.
I mean, that's the only way I can think of how. I wonder how he got the freaking ID though.
Oh, you know how Mike is. He's a sneaky son of a gun.
So he got unless he broke into the dude's house and get it. That's the only logical explanation.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, Mike's good at that stuff, so I imagine, he did do that.
So, I'm going to go with you, Henry, on that. That Mike was the one that sabotaged the guy's car so that he can be late for work.
Mm-hmm.
He took the badge.
Yep. That was great. That was just.
So after the whole golf cart montage with Mike at Magical, we get to see the funeral of Charles Lindbergh McGill. And
Yeah.
it wasn't a big extraordinary event that I thought it would be. I thought that was going to be like multiple people getting up and speaking, but we saw some great cameos, by the way, with Ed Begley Jr. from Davis and Maine,
Cliff. Yeah, Cliff. Yeah. From Davis,
uh,
Maine.
we haven't seen since season 2.
Yeah.
We saw Rebecca and Cusack,
Yeah.
which I thought was great.
Yeah. We saw her.
Schweikert was there.
Yep. Yeah, it was great to see all these cameos from these other characters that had been in the show or had been associated with, Hamlin McGill, Davis and Maine and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Great to see Ed Begley Jr.
Come back.
Yeah, I know.
To reprise his role, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And it was a short scene. Just mainly part of the scene was people walking up to Jimmy and saying their condolences and everything.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to be this huge event. Like I said, with people going up and speaking about Chuck. And I was looking forward to see if Jimmy would go up and speak about Chuck. And I thought that would have been quite interesting if they would have went that route. Of
yeah, but I have to say I think that going the way they did was probably a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Very understated. I think they didn't want to have people getting up there and making all kinds of speeches and all that. They just wanted to have something very, very, very low key.
Mm-hmm. And who knows? Maybe they might show more of the funeral later in the season.
Maybe. Who knows?
As a flashback or something. Let's see here. So we see that Howard has to get something off of his chest, and Kimmy and Jimmy meets up with Howard at their apartment. And Howard is, talking about what happened to the whole Chuck situation. And he said that he forced Chuck out because of the whole malpractice insurance going up because they found out about Chuck's disease. And that was Jimmy's undoing as well. And it seems like Howard is taking the responsibility for Chuck's death, which is, making a huge sigh of relief for Jimmy because Jimmy's, response was that it was your cross to bear. And then he gets up and feeds the fish and makes coffee. And then you have, Kim, looking weirdly at Jimmy. It's like, what are you talking about, And then you have Howard who's like, I've never seen Patrick Fabian cry, but it was a good scene of good work with Patrick Fabian and crying.
Yeah, it was. So that was a great way to end the episode. I mean, and this was a tremendous season opener. Really great episode, written by Peter Gould, by the way.
Yeah.
And we saw a little bit of a preview. I saw a preview on YouTube for this Monday's episode, and Jimmy is at a I believe it was a copier dealer. Dealership, and he's impressing the guy with his knowledge of different copiers because there's pictures of these copiers on the wall, and Jimmy's like saying that's the so and so, and and he goes through specifics of mechanics and everything of the machines and all that.
Yeah, and then one thing that stuck out to me is that you can print a whole bunch of money off of that. That kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the previews we see that Jimmy is job hunting. He's going into these job interviews, which we had to wait, after an hour and a half of Lodge 49 just to see a 2-second preview of the next episode. That got me mad. I was mad at that. I was kind of mad we had to watch up until the commercial break of Lodge 49.
Yeah. but yeah, this was really this was a tremendous episode, and I'm looking forward, of course, to this Monday and what's going to happen.
Yeah, this episode for Monday is Breathe.
Breathe, yeah.
Breathe. Any predictions for this Monday night?
Oh goodness. Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's what's going to we're going to see obviously the continuation with Jimmy and him searching for gainful employment. And I think we're gonna see more with the Hector stuff.
Yeah, I think so too.
We're gonna see what happens with Nacho. We're gonna see what happens with with Gus and with Mike, of course. And
I'm reading the credits for Monday night's episode, and it seems we are going to get a slew of Breaking Bad appearances.
Oh my!
Victor, Tyrus, the cousins, Lydia and Hector, is all under the guest starring list.
Oh my goodness!
So I am looking forward to this.
Yep. I am too. It's going to be a tremendous episode. Yeah. But yeah, it's this. Like I say, this was. I mean, this was a great way to start off the season.
Yeah, it definitely laid the groundwork of what's yet to come.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that it picked up right where it left off from last season. There was no time jump or anything like that.
Yeah. Because going into this, I figured there was going to be like a time jump within a year, and we see Jimmy in his new job, or if he's being a lawyer again, because we know that he cannot be a lawyer for a year. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a time jump. And somewhere in these bulk of episodes for him to be a lawyer again.
But I mean, I'm glad that they decided. I'm glad they decided to go with, having it be just like immediately right after the night after. Hey, did you notice one thing during the episode when Jimmy was sitting on the bench? He was looking up at the Transformer.
The Transformer. Yeah, great callback of when him and Chuck was on the bench and he was looking at the Transformer.
Yes. Yeah.
I forgot to bring that up, but that was great. And I forgot to bring this up last week. However, I was doing last week. I showed off my new purchase that I got early birthday gift of the Breaking Bad barrel set. I posted it on Instagram, and who did you know that liked the post? Michael Mando, Nacho himself.
Yeah,
liked the post, which is great. Kind of marked out for that.
That was cool.
That was great.
Well, I mean, I've had tweets liked by Mark Hamill. I've had tweets liked by Les Stroud. So,
but Breaking Bad was Nacho did it. I got Nacho. So hold up. So I got the cousins, Gonzo, Nacho. So
Gonzo.
We had Gonzo on.
Gonzo's awesome. Gonzo's awesome. Yeah, he's great.
I want to see if we can bring him back on again. I think.
I'm sure he'd be glad. I'm sure he'd be glad to do it if he has the time. I'm sure he'd be glad to do it.
Yeah, we got to bring Gonzo.
I don't think he'd hesitate at all. If you asked him, I think he would.
Gotta bring. We have to do it when Ellen's here though, because I got connections now.
Yeah, man. I love it, man.
I got it. See, here's the thing. If something happens, I can just call up Gonzo and say, "Hey, Gonzo, can you do me a solid?"
Yeah, he's very cool. Jesus Payan is very cool. He's a cool guy.
Jesus is great. Although I have to call him Gonzo though, because I know him by Gonzo.
Yeah. Yeah.
His nickname should be Gonzo for
Yeah, well,
whatever reason.
we've known him through Facebook for a while. Both you
Yeah.
and I, we've known him
Well,
through
we had him on
Facebook.
twice. We had him on talking about Breaking Bad. And we had him talking on
Yeah.
about Bigfoot because, lo and behold, he's into the Bigfoot stuff.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't know if you marked out, but I completely marked out when he was on Finding Bigfoot a while back.
I
The
know.
Quarters episode.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like, "That's Gonzo! That's
Yeah.
Gonzo!"
Yeah.
I was like, "I didn't know Gonzo was into Bigfooting." It's like,
Yes.
freaking
Yes.
awesome.
I know. It's cool.
He also told a story about Walt Jr.
R.J. Mitty.
Being interested in Bigfooting as well. I think he told us that story that he
did. He
took
did
about Bigfooting,
and he also said the most skeptical member of the cast of Breaking Bad was Giancarlo Esposito, Gus.
Oh, he met with I didn't know that there was like I don't know if he met with John Gallo or when he was on Breaking Bad because we never seen any scenes with them together.
Right. Yeah.
So I wonder if it was just like a Breaking Bad thing. They all got together and they was talking.
Now, see, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if they bring Tuco back, they got to bring Dodos and Gonzo back.
Yeah, they have to because they're Tuco's guys. There's Tuco's guys.
They got have Jesus.
And then Jesus told us the story about he was listed in the credits as No-Dos, and the other guy was Gonzo, and then they switched. And then he told us the story of where Heisenberg got his look, and he was the one that gave Heisenberg's look.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. The iconic, the hat and the sunglasses and the mustache. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we have to get him back on.
We do. Yeah. Like I say, I'm sure he'd be more than willing to do it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he will too. Because we got to talk to him about because I don't think when we had him on the first time, that was before Better Call Saul got started. Right? We got him on now because he was in season 1 Better Call Saul, so he's got some stories to tell us.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, I think they're going to bring him back because if they bring Tuco back, they got to bring Gonzo and No-Dos back. Yeah.
They have to. They got to. I wonder if I can have Gonzo bring on the cousins, because I would really like to have the cousins on.
That would be cool.
Because I'm friends with Daniel and his brother on Facebook, and I don't know if they do stuff like that.
I know I'm friends with at least one of them.
Yeah, I think it's Daniel I'm friends with. The cousins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course we are going to see them this season for sure. We know that.
Yeah, because they showed the freaking boots. We have to get them on, and I have to be like, dude, you got to give me a pair of them boots. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you got to steal something from the studio and send it to me, but I got to have me a pair of those freaking boots.
Yeah, but it's great to see all these elements of Breaking Bad coming together. I mean, season 3 was where it really kicked or really started kicking in as far as the Breaking Bad stuff. I mean, there was some in season 2 of Better Call Saul, but really season 3 is where we've really had the Breaking Bad elements.
I was looking up the cousins, and one half of the cousins, Daniel, he wished me happy birthday last year. I didn't even know that.
Cool. Yeah.
So let's see if we can show it. Let's see here. Where? Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's right there. Hopefully
very cool. I see it. Yeah. That's cool.
I just don't notice that. I mean.
Yep.
I'm a little scared now. He knows when my birthday is. It's like I can look. I can find you on Facebook. I can probably find out where you live. If I hear like an axe or something scraping the floor, I'm gonna have to get Gonzo to help me out.
No, I'm sure he's very cool in real life. Much,
Oh yeah, he looks like a cool dude.
that's the thing. Actors who play the really bad, scary guys, they're usually actually sweethearts in real life.
Oh yeah, just like with Raymond Cruz,
Yeah.
Tuco. I mean, he freaking. I'm sure I wouldn't mind having a beer with that dude. He
Oh
looks freaking
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Raymond Cruz, he seems pretty cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I said, we got to have Tuco back this season because he has to get together with Hector. He has to take
Hmm.
care of Hector. Yep.
Yeah, actually, I am friends with both of the cousins.
Cool.
Both of the cousins. Apparently, he's in Fear the Walking Dead. One of the
Really?
cousins, Daniel. Daniel's in Fear the Walking
Oh,
Dead. So let's look this up.
wow.
Might be in this season. Let's see here.
I'm gonna have to watch for that if he's on there like tomorrow night because tomorrow night's the mid-season premiere
Mm-hmm.
of.
Fear. Yeah, he's credited for Fear the Walking Dead season 4.
Oh, cool.
Uh, but what episode? He's not in the first half because you would
Oh,
have
so
told me if he was in the first half.
oh,
So he's got to be in the second half of season 4.
yeah, I think he is. Is it Mercado?
Mikado.
How's that spelled? M-A.
Moncada. Oh, he was actually in season 3.
Oh, okay. Daniel and Louis Moncada. That's them.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was in one episode of season 3. It was called Teotwawki,
Cool.
and he was the dude I was thrown off a dam. I don't know if you've
See,
seen that episode.
I did not watch. I did not watch season 3, so I don't remember.
It was episode. I don't know what episode it was.
Well, he and
Episode 3
Luis
of
are.
season 3.
Oh, okay. He and Luis are actually from
Mm-hmm.
Honduras. They're from Honduras, Moncada. Yeah.
Yep.
Lionel and Marco Salamanca. Yeah. The cousins. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And of course, we already know they're going to be on Better Call Saul again this season.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. I think we've discussed the entire episode pretty well. I am
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, Okay, I just found out some information about Gonzo. He's actually Tuco's brother-in-law.
really
Yes, Gonzo the character. He's Tuco's brother-in-law.
wow. So
Nice.
we might get to see the whole family dynamic with Hector as well in season 4. I wonder if Gonzo is going to make an appearance in season 4.
That's what I'm wondering too. Now, of course, if we were to ask him, he'd be like, "Well, maybe I will, maybe I won't." He'll kind of he'll
Yeah, they can't spoil it for us.
right. Yeah, they're because they're under
Contract.
contract.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's see here.
See, I never knew that he was the brother-in-law
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
of Tuco. I was like, oh, really? Because I'm looking on the Wikipedia page.
Hmm. Because
It's
they never
actually
really, I don't think they ever really hinted at that.
no. I was unaware of that.
Hmm.
I mean, I knew he worked with. I knew. Of course, I knew he worked with Tuco, but I did not realize that they were related by marriage. So, wow.
Hmm.
Obviously, he must have married Tuco's sister because I don't think Tuco was married.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know. We really don't know the whole Salamanca Tuco situation. Which brings up
Right.
another good point. Vince Gilligan actually came out and said that there might be another spinoff of the Breaking Bad universe of a Breaking Bad
Really?
character, and I like to see Tuco. I like to see a Tuco spinoff. I think that'd be really great to see. I mean,
That
if
would be
Raymond
cool.
Cruz
Like
is
a
in,
prequel.
Raymond Cruz is like, yeah.
Yeah, like a prequel with the Salamancas. That would be great.
Mm-hmm. If Raymond Cruz is down for that, I mean, I'll be all on that.
Oh yeah, I think he would be. I think he'd be like, yeah, I'd be glad to do that. That would be very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening, Vince Gilligan, yeah, get on that.
Oh yeah,
If you watch this show,
Vince Gilligan is watching this show. I mean, geez, come on, Vince. Let's talk. Let's crack. What's really funny? I did not see a Talking Saul episode because they usually have one at the beginning of the season. I wonder if because of the whole
right?
Chris
Yeah,
Hardwick situation. But
yeah,
they,
that's a good question. That's what I'm wondering too. Was it because the whole thing with Chris Hardwick? Yeah,
but AMC cleared Chris Hardwick, and he's supposed to be back with The Walking Dead. But I don't know why they didn't do it with Talking Saul.
yeah. But yeah, this was Like I said, there's so many possibilities for this season of Better Call
Mm-hmm.
Saul of what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. It's gonna be tremendous. I think it's just gonna be.
Mm-hmm. Before we go, any predictions that's what you might happen, or would you like to see this season?
Let's see. Gosh. Uh, well, I mean, I would like to. Of course, I like to see how Tuco gets together with it
Mm-hmm.
with Hector and
Yeah.
what will happen with Nacho. Will he be expended expendable
Mm-hmm.
this season? Will they
Mm-hmm.
keep him on another season? Yeah, there's so many plot points, plot lines, and will we see Jimmy become Saul Goodman?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the big question that everyone is asking: is this the season? Is this finally the season we see Saul Goodman, the lawyer, not Saul Goodman, the ad producer that we saw last season?
Yeah,
And Saul
although
Goodman,
those were some great montages and things like
yeah,
that
I
when he
love
was
those commercials,
yeah,
but
those were cool.
yeah,
Those were
yeah, I have to
funny.
agree with you. I have to agree with you. I have to. Yeah, I would like to see the whole Tuco. If Tuco is going to be back and taking care of Hector, what's going to happen with Nacho? Is this going to be Nacho's final season because of the whole
Yep.
Hector thing? Because what Nacho did to Hector was kind of a close call. Because that'd be putting some light from the DEA, like Gus said, and will Nacho be axed because of the whole Hector situation? Um,
Yep. And will we see? Let's see who else.
what's going to happen with
Who
Jimmy?
else?
The whole Jimmy and
Yeah.
Kimmy dynamic.
Yeah.
The people. Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould said that there's going to be a big dynamic shift between Jimmy and Kimmy. What's going to happen with Hamlin and McGill? So many questions. So many questions.
Yep. Yeah, will we see? Will we see what happens with? Yeah, what will happen with Hamill, and McGill?
Mhm. Because we know for a fact that this show has been renewed for season 5. Nacho
Yes.
posted it on his Instagram. It's been renewed for season 5. A week before the show even aired, it had been renewed, which I thought
Cool.
was great. Great. And hopefully, I don't know how long they can continue this show. Are they going to go past season 5 and do a season 6, or are they going to stop at season 5 and be like Breaking Bad?
Good question.
I would like to see. What I like to see is if they do the same with Better Call Saul, what they did with Breaking Bad, which is do 20 episodes for season 5 and split them apart like they did with Breaking Bad. Because with Breaking Bad, they did 16 and they split them apart. So since they do 10 each season, do 20 for season 5 and just split them apart.
Yep, that would be cool.
But I think we've discussed the major points that's going to happen this season. Cannot wait for Monday night. We'll be here next week for episode 2, Breathe. And it's going to be a wild ride this season. Good night, everybody.
It really is.
And also, don't forget, The Walking Dead is going to premiere October 7th. October 7th. And we're going to have the webcasting Saul GoodCast, Deadcast. What was it you called?
The webcasting Saul Good Deadcast.
That's a mouthful, but let's just go with that. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and end this. We'll see you here next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night, everybody.